Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am an alcoholic, and today I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I cannot be any more grateful. We had a great time in our crosstalk meeting last night. We get the privilege of going into these different treatment facilities and just sitting and talking with folks, just having good, honest, open dialogue, open conversations about recovery. And no structures, no formats, no formalities, none of that. We just get to sit and talk with people, and it does so much for our hearts and our spirits. So I want to thank those guys for allowing us to come into your world last night and hang out with you guys. We do have our Crosstalk Friday. It's open to the general public every Friday night at 5747 East Pea Ridge Road in Huntington, West Virginia. So if you're local to the Huntington, West Virginia area, come on down this Friday night at 7 o'clock and hang out with us just for, again, that good, honest dialogue. My sponsor makes a comment a lot. And he said this last night, actually. There's something really cool that we get to see the light come back on into people's eyes. You know, whenever somebody just accidentally walks into a recovery room or they come into treatment, they may be at their lowest point of their lives. And we get to meet these folks and watch their progression week after week, day after day, month after month. And we get to see that light come back on in their eyes. I like to say I get to see the life coming back into their eyes, right? The life coming back into their bodies, and then realizing that, oh my gosh, I can do this. One of the questions that I posed to the group last night, and we tell the folks, no right or wrong answers, just honest, open dialogue about recovery. I asked them, I said, how many people actually think or thought at one point that their life was going to be boring, their life was going to become mundane once they got clean and sober? And there were several folks that raised their hands. And I started thinking back to my own personal experience. I too thought that. I remember thinking, I can't get sober because shit, my life's going to get boring. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing exciting is going to take place. I'm just going to be, yay, I'm sober. Nothing's going on. There's no excitement. Well, isn't that the reason why I was drinking in the first place? Because there was too much shit going on? Because there was too many events that I could not emotionally process? Isn't that why I was drinking in the first place? Because I just couldn't deal with the stress. I couldn't deal with all these life events, all this excitement I just couldn't deal with. So I drink. Is the same thing for you? Are you still drinking and drugging? Because there's just too much going on, but I don't want to get sober. I don't want to get clean because nothing might be going on then. I wanted to get sober because I wanted a better life. I wanted to learn how to manage. I obviously couldn't manage all these events, all this too much excitement that was going on in my life. I obviously couldn't do it whenever I was drinking, so I had to get sober. And lo and behold, yeah, shit stopped happening. Per se. There are some things that still happen, but all the tragic events, all the bad circumstances that started taking place, well, I was able to start dealing with them. And I remember something my sponsor said a long time ago. Life doesn't necessarily get easier. Life doesn't necessarily get better, but we get better and we start being able to handle these difficult situations that life throws at us. But I clearly remember I couldn't do that whenever I was drinking. I couldn't emotionally process things that were happening to me whenever I was drinking, so I just drink even more. Well, I realized I was going to have to get clean and sober so I could start emotionally processing these events and all these circumstances that were happening in my life at the time. If I didn't, then shit, it was just going to continue to get worse, ultimately driving me to an early grave, which is a place that, looking back now, I just don't have any desire to go to. I'm thankful that I got to walk into a room full of people. I'm thankful that there was people that got to watch the light come back on in my eyes. They got to see the life come back into my face and my personality. They got to watch my recovery story unfold right there, them on the sidelines while I'm on the field working my ass off. They got to see that, and I'm so thankful for that. And I'm also thankful that I get to see that myself now by helping others, by meeting people when they're at their lowest point in their lives. And then they start worrying, well, maybe it's not time for me to get clean and sober. What's going to happen? My life's going to become boring. I'm not going to have all these things going on in my life. My life's going to become mundane. I said the same thing. At the end of the day, that's the reason why one of the main reasons why I was drinking in the first place. I like to call that no excitement happening, that no, catastrophic event taking place. I like to call that serenity. I like to call that serenity. See, now that I don't have alcohol in my life, hell. It's peaceful. And isn't that what I was after for in the first place? A little bit of peace and quiet? Thank God for the rooms of recovery because I finally found it. I want to ask you, is that why you're drinking and drugging still? Because there's just too much going on in your life you can't emotionally process? That's fair, I get it. But what do you think is going to happen if you continue drinking and drugging? Do you think that excitement, all these things happening to you, you think they're going to stop? They're not. Again, I want to reiterate, just like my sponsor says, life doesn't necessarily get better, but we do. And our responses get better. The way we're able to respond to life events and life circumstances, where we get to the point where we are then finally able to emotionally process all these things and start dealing with them appropriately. Again, I like to call that serenity. So with that being said, I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I cannot be any more appreciative. If there's a topic you'd like to have discussed on these monologues, feel free to email it directly to me, Drew, D-R-E-W, at recoveryclassroom.org. We'll take a look at it, see what we can do. And again, just a quick reminder, we have our Crosstalk Friday. It's open to the general public. Anybody can show up, regardless of whatever your addiction may be. Drugs, alcohol, it doesn't matter. We don't care. We just like to sit and talk. So that'll be this Friday night, 5747 East Pea Ridge Road in Huntington at 7 o'clock. I encourage you to come on down. We'll be talking again soon. Remember, guys, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.